Hello, hello, greetings to you all out there. This is Dr. D with Core3 Harmony and Wellness Services, here where we pair music therapy and all things mental health. Thank you so much if you are joining me. I'm live today. It is Saturday. I'm on the West Coast Pacific time. So if you're able to be here right at this moment, I really appreciate it. If you're watching this some other time of the day, I still greatly appreciate you. Give a shout out to all those who are subscribers and have hung in there with me, even on my little hiatus here, where we took a break. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. And if you're new here, I would appreciate a subscribe. Here we talk about all things mental health and music therapy, where I also have created a second channel, and I'm going to start doing some regular content there in a couple of weeks, where I can dive in a little bit more specifically about music therapy. And so I'm excited about that. I have to say this is going to sound strange, but this is this is where we are now with things being presented to us. This is not an AI driven video. This is I'm a live human being, and I'm bringing forward this content, and I will always do that. I know there's been some things going on where there are some AI driven videos. So I just wanted to let you know that this is not an AI driven video. This is me live and in person, bringing you some information, which I hope you will find uplifting, inspiring. Okay, so let us dive in. We're kicking off a series where we're going to dive into mindset, and my goal is hopefully helping you to de-stress. Okay, we can find ourselves in stressful situations. So one of the things that's very helpful with that is our mindset. Okay, so we're going to dive into that today. Let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen, so bear with me. All right, I hope you can see that okay. All right, so mindset and how it affects your life. We're going to dive into understanding and shaping mental frameworks. And I'm excited about this series because it really does make a difference how we think. I share with folks that I work with that our thoughts are anxiety producing. So if we can start to work on having a better mindset frame and better thought process, that's automatically going to decrease any kind of anxiety or depression we may lean into or fall into. All right, the power of perspective. I want you to understand this. You know, it's something how, you can have two people go through the exact same situation and walk away with completely different experiences. And one person may feel defeated in the situation, and the other one may feel challenged, but also motivated. So, what makes the difference between these two people, between their two experiences? It's their mindset. So, your mindset shapes how you interpret stress, setbacks, and opportunities, and even relationships. So, in research in psychology, it shows that mindset doesn't just affect how you feel, it influences your behavior, resilience, and overall long-term success. So today we're going to talk about how mindset affects your life and how you can start shaping it intentionally. So we're going to talk about two different mindsets. Anyone that's worked with me, they know that I've mentioned this before, where I talk about a person either having or being in the zone of a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Okay. And so in psychology, mindset refers to the belief systems and mental frameworks that shape how we interpret our experiences. One of the most influential researchers in this field within psychology is Carol Dweck. And please apologize if I'm saying names incorrectly. But she is known for her work on fixed versus growth mindset. And so check this out. A fixed mindset assumes that abilities are permanent. Failure means you're not capable of challenges, or challenges are threats. And with a growth mindset, the focus is on the fact that skills can be developed, challenges help you to learn, and effort improves ability. Studies have shown that people with a growth mindset are more likely to persist through challenges, recover from setbacks, and achieve long-term goals. But mindset affects more than success. I want you to understand from today that the mindset also really greatly influences our mental health. Okay. And so we're going to dive into how does it do this. So we have thoughts, we have emotions, we have behaviors. And so the psychology behind a mindset, one of the approaches in psychology that we are taught when we are becoming therapists, psychologists, is that cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is an approach that we dive deep into and that many therapists use. And that actually a lot of the other approaches you may hear out there, DBT, ACT, I'll dive into that more in some other videos. They all stem from what I call the grandfather of cognitive behavioral therapy. It explains that our experience follow a pattern. And like I shared earlier, the pattern is thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Okay, so if your thought, I'm going to give you an example. If your thought says, I always mess things up, your emotional response may be shame or discouragement. Okay, and then your behavior might be avoidance, or you just give up. You're like, oh, I can't do this, so just there's no point. There's no point doing this. Okay, but if the thought becomes, this is difficult, but I can learn from it, your emotional response shifts to determination. Your behavior then changes to problem solving. This is why mindset is so powerful. It acts as the lens through which life is interpreted. So your brain is constantly scanning for evidence that confirms your beliefs. So this process is called confirmation bias. If your mindset says, I'm not capable, I can't do this, then your brain unconsciously starts to collect proof for that thought. But if your mindset says, you know what, I can grow from this, or this is hard, but I'm going to figure out a way to get through this, your brain then shifts and starts to find opportunities. All right, let's check this out. How does mindset impact across our life? How does this impact everything that we do? So our mindset influences several areas in our life. And here we're going to look at our stress response, how it impacts our relationships, our motivation, and resilience. So with stress response, research shows that people who view stress as manageable perform better under pressure. You know, sometimes there's those people that are like, oh, they wait to the last minute and the deadline's almost there, and they kind of get this natural pull into the project or into the thing last minute. And other people operate differently with that. But I think what's happening for the people that can do like right on the deadline and get the thing done and in and it's successful, I believe they operate in the mode of this is manageable. Okay. Now, in regards to relationships, Your mindset determines whether conflict feels like rejection or an opportunity for understanding. In regards to motivation, people who believe effort leads to improvement persists longer. I want to say that again because motivation is an area where many have shared with me, I'm just not motivated, Dr. D. I got no motivation. Listen to this again. People who believe effort, believe, that's key. And, I think I'll do a deep dive into how impactful our beliefs are. But people who believe effort leads to improvement persist longer. Now, stepping into resilience, a growth mindset helps individuals recover more quickly from setbacks. Psychologists call this psychological flexibility, and I've used this term before. Some people have heard of it, some people have not. But what this simply means is that it's the ability to adapt, adjust, and continue to move forward. All right, so you're like, Dr. D, this sounds great. And my mindset stinks, it stunk, it stank. And I realized maybe my mindset is more so fixed than growth oriented. How do I shift? Okay, there's 3 ways to begin shifting your mindset. 3 areas we're going to look at. Okay, you have them there presented to you on the screen. We're going to notice our internal dialogue, reframe the challenges, and practice intentional gratitude. Okay, those are the 3 areas we're going to dive into. All right, so I want you to first focus on noticing the dialogue. Pay attention to this internal dialogue. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself. I have found when I'm working with folks, no matter what their age, man, they can be pretty darn mean to themselves. And so, why are we doing this, people? Why? Now, some of us, depending on our environment and our upbringing, we model what we were around. We can't help but become, if we weren't encouraged to speak differently about ourselves and encourage ourselves, then we were never taught. Okay? But I'm going to tell you right now, please stop doing this. Please stop being mean and cruel to yourself. Replace, for example, I can't do this, or I'm stupid, or I'm dumb, with I haven't mastered this yet. And some of you may have seen there's some videos out there, and there's a discussion on the power of yet. I love that because you can see where I'm not as accomplished in this thing yet, as opposed to just I can't do this, I'm not accomplished in this area, especially if it's a thing that you want to become better at. So replace I can't do this, for example, with I haven't mastered this yet. I want you from this video, if you can do this for me, please, I want you to experiment with the power of the word yet. The word yet creates psychological space for growth. Oh, we are stepping into becoming more psychologically flexible with the word yet. All right, please practice that. Okay. Reframe challenges. You're like, Dr. D, what is this all about? So, for example, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what might this experience be teaching me? This shift activates problem-solving areas in the brain. Okay? What might this experience be teaching me? And this prevents us from falling into that shame and that guilt and that woe is me. Now, don't get me wrong. I always share with my folks, acknowledge where you are in the feeling. It may instinctually just come up. Why is this happening to me? Yes. Why is this happening to me? And you may be able to find various pieces of evidence as to why something is happening. But if you are feeling like, I want to figure out how to shift from this, you move into, What can I learn from this experience? How can I tap into some resiliency in this moment? Okay, so reframe the challenges. Woo! I think we underestimate the power of gratitude. Research in positive psychology shows that gratitude increases well being and cognitive flexibility. Each day, do the best you can to identify 3 things that went well that you are grateful for. This helps to train our brain to scan for positive evidence. Okay, we're going to talk a lot about this through the series, is that we have the power to rewire our brain. Yes, our habits are deeply rooted, but we do have the power to rewire them and uproot some stuff we do not need to be doing anymore nor thinking anymore. Okay, it's hard. Like, when we're trying to do something for our physical health, whether that's eating better or exercising, and we're not in a routine and we're not in a habit of doing it, yeah, it's hard. Small steps lead to big changes. So start small. It's going to lead to big changes down the road. I guarantee you. I've experienced this. I've worked with folks that have experienced this. Please never underestimate the power of gratitude. All right. So let's look at personal reflection. You're like, Dr. D, what does this have to do with it? Sometimes the biggest transformation begins with a single shift in perspective. I want you to recall that. Okay, so what belief about yourself might be limiting your growth? What belief? Just think right now, what belief about me is limiting my growth? Okay, and what would change if you believed improvement was always possible? So, what would change if you believed that improvement was possible? What would you do different? Yeah, it's small. It can be small. It doesn't have to be this gigantic thing. It can be small. And I guarantee you that small thing, it will lead to that bigger change, which you will start to see that shift. Anyone that's worked with me, they hear me talk about how have we moved the needle even a little bit towards an area of improvement, growth, or progress. How have we move that? Sometimes for some of the folks I work with, it's just showing up consistently to their appointments every week. It's just leaning in and checking in. It's journaling. It's these small things where it's like, okay, I did this thing towards some betterment in this area. Okay. All right. And last but not least, I leave you with this. We're embracing neuroplasticity, and we're going to talk about what does this mean. So the thing with our instant gratification society and world that we live in now is understanding that mindset change, it does not happen overnight. Okay? This takes some time. But every thought that you challenge and every belief that you reframe and every effort you make toward growth slowly reshapes your brain. Neuroscience, they call this neuroplasticity. It is the brain's ability to recognize and adapt. Okay? Which means that your mindset that you have today does not have to be the mindset that you keep forever. I want you to understand, I want to leave you with this today, that growth is always possible. Okay? Growth is always possible. All right. And with that, and in closing, all right, I want you to understand that you have an amazing ability to make adjustments right? You have this amazing ability to make these adjustments with how you think about things. And how I think about things leads to how I feel, the emotions, the mood. And that leads to how I show up, my behavior and my actions. Okay? It stems from the foundation of the thoughts. Our thoughts can be anxiety producing, or our thoughts can be growth inducing possibilities, opportunities. So you have to understand that if you are feeling like you're stuck in this process, I want you to lean on it. Well, how healthy is my thinking? And if I'm finding my thinking is unhealthy, I hope you find that everything today on this vlog is something that you can go back to, you can check in with, and you can make adjustments with. All right? I want to leave you with this in closing. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. 3 things, and if you're familiar with my vlogs, you know, I want you to know these 3 things. You matter, you are worthy, and you are loved. And if you have problems in any one of those areas, please reach out to me. Please reach out to Dr. D. Check in with me. Consultations are no cost. Let's see how we can get you on a path to living well, doing well, and being well to the best of our ability in every area of your life. To all the subscribers, thank you for hanging in there. For anyone new, I'd appreciate you subscribing. Stay tuned. We will be going live again next week. We'll keep diving down into our mindset health. All right. I appreciate each and every one of you. I want you to have an amazing, wonderful rest of your day. And we will see you here next week.